Welcome, everybody, to Big Ben and Ty Sports Cave. We have Wade here tonight to talk the last hockey podcast of the year. Before we kind of get started here, Wade, go ahead and give a shout out to our good friends down at Bay Leaf Indian Restaurant and Bar.
Absolutely. Um, Bayleaf Indian Restaurant and Bar, located in downtown Peoria next to the riverfront, a few blocks away from Carver. Although hockey season is over, like we've been saying, Peoria Chiefs are starting to get into the swing of things. So maybe you want to go on down there, check them out before Chiefs game, or just go on down there and check them out. Period. Now that hockey's over, maybe you have a little more time, a little more free time for you and your family, and you guys are looking to try something new, something different. Head on down to Bay Leaf and give them a try. They got food for the entire family, kids included. They cater to your taste if you like spicy food. If you don't, um, really great food, great service, great atmosphere. Get on down there, check them out. Tell them Wade and Big Ben and Ty Sports Cave sent you.
Yeah, so get on down there and get some good Indian food uh, from Bay Leaf. Well, we were hoping to have this show on a better note, but as many know, Evansville Thunderbolts are your 2026 President's Cup champions. I say congratulations to them. They played outstanding. Uh, to come from 2-0, being down 2-0, and win on Peoria's home ice is just it's almost unheard of. We didn't think it was ever going to happen, but it did. They outplayed. I think they outplayed us 100%, and they wanted the cup more than we did. Wade, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely congratulations to the Evansville Thunderbolts on a back-to-back championship. Uh,
Yeah,
they joined, let's see, Knoxville Ice Bears, Pensacola Ice Flyers, and Huntsville Havoc as the only team to go back-to-back in the league. And they are the only team, first team and only team in the SPHL hockey history there to come back from an 0-2 deficit to win a President's Cup. Um, that's that's the wrong side of things you want to be on if you're a Riverman fan, but it's a great achievement, obviously, for Evansville Thunderbolts. Just like what you said, they just, I don't know, it's hard. It's still kind of even hard to digest, honestly, at times. I am more over it now and moving on, but this one you don't just shake off. It's gonna stick with you a long, long time. The way we lost this to Evansville, especially that last and final game 5, it stings. It stings a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean it just. I don't know. We just seemed like we didn't want it as much as they did. I don't know where the team was that played the first and second game because I think if we would have played like that, I think we would have been talking about something else. Talking about winning. Um, they named Matthew Hobbs as the MVP. I kind of have a different opinion. I really thought they would have named Stead um, in that position. I think I'm not saying he deserves it more than Hobbs, but I'm saying it's just my opinion. I think he would have been uh, my choice anyway for MVP of that series. Wade, do you have opinion on that, or do you agree with me, or do you have somebody else that possibly
I mean,
could
I
have?
think there could have been a couple of people. I mean, you look at what was his name? Isaac Chapman had a great series against us. You also look at Evan Miller. Evan Miller was amazing against us as well. Um, but yeah, like what you said, Stead. Uh, I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not. I don't know how Thunderbolts fans feel about it, but I know how I feel about it. I think he's better than Cole Cece. I think he did better for the Thunderbolts than Cole Cece did. I know maybe the numbers might be a little bit better in the playoffs for Cole, but if you look at the overall picture of what Stead meant to this team over the course of the full season plus the playoffs, I would put Stead over Cole Cece. And Cole Cece won that MVP for him, obviously. Um, I do think Stead was very deserving of that award. I tend to agree with you on that because there was times, especially you look at how he played in Evansville, being down 2 games to get that series tied and back to Peoria. Stead gave up only 2 goals in those 2 games, and he looked brilliant out there. So yeah, I it seems like okay, Hobbs is the captain, so let's just give it to him. Not saying he didn't, do well, but it's just like I think there's a few others that could have got it before Hobbs, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't,
No,
I don't,
I agree.
yeah, I don't think Evansville fans are crying over it. They like
No,
Hobbs
no,
for there.
no. And I did see. I think a couple Evansville fans did say something about what about Stead, or Steed, or however you pronounce it. And um, I like I said, I tend to agree with him. I think he probably would have been my choice if I had a choice. But like I said, I don't think they're going to really look into it that much. They're back to back champions. That's all that matters to them, and they did it on our home ice. To me, it's just we did not play very well. Um, we started playing well. Well, we started off the game pretty decent.
Yeah,
Um, we played, and then it went away until it got into the third, and then in the third we were trying to play catch up, and it's hard to play catch up with this Evansville team. It really was,
yeah,
and it just seemed like every time we would score, they would just turn right around and they'd score. So it was just not meant to be. Uh, so anything else you want to say about the game before we kind of move on from that? Because like I said, it's over. It's done with. Evansville is your President's Cup champions. Um, all we can do is just get ready for next season and be better.
yeah. I mean, it was like what you said. It was rough after that first goal. I mean, scoring first at home, just like the first 2 games when we scored first, we won. Alec Berry, he looked great. I know sometimes from certain fans, like Alec Bear does, catch some heat. I mean, wearing the captain, it, it's a heavy price. People expect more from you. I thought Alec Bear played great hockey in the finals. He got that first goal in game five. It was a brilliant goal, a toe drag goal that he dangled the puck right around the defender and just fired it over Stead. And I felt great after that, but the team completely disappeared. Um, again, love Tino, respect his run throughout this whole playoffs. The dude, he played great. That game five, something was completely amiss with him. I don't know if it was fatigue, if there was an injury from the multiple collisions he took in Evansville. I don't know if that first goal that he gave up messed with him mentally because I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, that was an absolute horrible goal to give up. Just a horrible rebound off of him right to a Thunderbolt player. And so I don't know if that really messed with him or a combo of all three. But it was obvious right after that Tino was not himself. Yeah, didn't look comfortable in that, giving up
No.
terrible rebounds all game long. And they just took advantage of that. I thought we would see Jack start the second period when they only had 2 goals because I told a few people that was around me. I was just like, look, maybe Jack's not the answer. Maybe he, doesn't have a great whatever, but we got to take that chance because I can assure you Tino's going to give up more goals. He's not himself. We got to switch to Jack. And sure enough, he gives up 2 more goals before finally switching to Jack. But by then, I think it was too late.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I don't know why Coach left Tino in there. It was pretty obvious he wasn't himself. I don't know. I don't know what the game plan was that game 5, and I don't know what Coach was thinking leaving Tino in. I know who am I to question Coach, but it seemed pretty obvious to me that Tino wasn't himself, and
Well,
just
it's almost like he's a little inconsistent though with pulling goalies because, like, well, when the Rivermen played Pensacola, Jack let in 2 goals, and boom, he was already pulled. So it's like, okay, so you pull Jack after only letting in 2 goals, but you have Tino in there, and he lets 4 goals before he decides to pull them,
yep,
5 goals. It's like have a little bit of a consistency here. You know, it's almost like, well, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. It almost sounds like favoritism in a way.
yeah,
It's like, well, nope, you let in 2 goals. Nope, I'm pulling you. Okay, but Tino can let in 5, and you don't pull him out until he lets in 5. It just it to me that was a little inconsistent, and I've heard from other fans saying that this was probably one of the years that they were the most disappointed in the coaching of the Rivermen, and I've heard that firsthand, and it's kind of sad to hear, because normally we got Gee in our corner. Who else? Who can be against us? Who's going to beat us? But this year was just it was weird. Yes, we won the regular season championship. Yes, we played really good in January, but there was February was a disaster month. Um, and then going into March, it was a question. All right, what are we gonna do? Um, my opinion, Jack just won the goalie of the year that the day he let the of 2 goals, maybe protecting his image. Well, I mean, maybe, but it's just I don't know. I was talking about when they played Pensacola though in regular season. It was like one of our last games that we played regular season. Jack let in 2 goals and boom, he was pulled right away. There was no question about it. He was pulled. I know what you're talking about, Anthony. You're talking about in the playoffs. I think. Um, but yeah, no, it just I don't know. You got your fans that love Tino and they can love Tino all they want, and I'm not against Tino. I'm not against Jack. I'm not against anybody really. We just did not have enough to win against Evansville, and that's what I told people. I even told the guys that sat around me. I'm like, guys, if we play like we did the last 2 games, be ready for them to hoist the cup on our home ice. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. So,
yeah, yeah. I think the
all
most
right,
I've questioned him this season, probably. I mean, like I said, letting go of Norika and Henry, I still looks like we could have used a player like Norika and Henry in this series. That's for
Yeah,
sure. That's what I'll say about that. There's some real head scratching moves. I've never questioned Trudell as much as I did this year, and that's just being honest. Like I know some people love him, his whole body of work. Look, guys, I get it. Trudell, the most winningest coach for a reason. I totally understand that. He's got a couple of rings now. But if you're if you didn't scratch your head a couple of times at his decision, then I don't know. Like I said, to each their own. But to me, there was some head scratching moves that I don't know. At times, it even almost seemed like he was checked out at times. Just being honest.
yeah.
So
I just have I'd have to agree a little bit. But like I said, can't do anything about it now, so we'll just continue on and move on and get ready for next year. Speaking of next year, SPHL announced, I believe, earlier this week that the Athens Rock Lobsters, I believe that's what they're called, will be joining the SPHL this next season. And then, of course, was it Biloxi? Not Biloxi. What's the other one?
Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile. Mobile will be joining us 27-28 season. So this year, the Rock Lobsters will be joining. There is other rumors I've heard. Um, Iowa no longer has an ECHL team, so I don't know if they're trying to get a team somewhere again. I've also heard other the Fed teams. I heard they're not done leaving the league yet. So yeah, there's multiple rumors going around. So I mean, who knows? This might be a good thing for the SPHL to get a few more teams. Um, I would love to see them get over 12 teams. That would just be phenomenal. I think it would make the standings more interesting. It would make playoffs more interesting, and it just makes the whole league better, in my opinion. Uh, so Wade, what's your thoughts on getting a new team for next year?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think Athens Rock Lobsters are good. They get a lot of fan support, a lot of fan support where they play. Um, a great team. They were a very competitive team in the Feds as well. I think this is a great move for Athens to jump up to SPHL. A lot of people would joke they're basically an SPHL team in the Feds anyway. Jack
Which
came
which
from
this year it was almost like that because there were so many ECHL talent coming down the SPHL where the SPHL was getting pushed down to the Feds.
yeah, and like I said, you did. I mean, looking back, you do. There is a lot of former SPHL talent down there in the Feds right now, like with like Monroe Moccasins and Black Bears and PD Ice Cats, and there is quite a few SPHL players down there, and I did, like I said, I won't name team names, but I did hear a few other teams that, like what you had, that could come up to the Feds. That kind of does make sense, like what you said with the Heartlanders, kind of closing up shop at least. They would not say this is like for good, like they're folding. It's like they did everything they could to avoid saying that, but they
Mm-hmm.
are not competing in the ECHL this upcoming season. That
Yeah.
much is true. So that leaves it open for the possibility of a move. Just like I told you, if we can get like, in the next couple of seasons, if we can get like 14 teams in this league, um, not only could we consider possibly adding like maybe even like 10 teams to the playoff, picture, but we could start talking about divisions
Yeah.
now in this league. So these teams joining could lead to big changes for the SPHL. Maybe you start seeing replay in every arena, start seeing two refs in every game, and just this league really start to evolve, which is, I think, great for this league.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind seeing another northern team. Like if Iowa decided to go in the SPHL, that would be kind of cool. That would be a little rival between Quad Cities and them. I think
Yeah,
that would be a good rival to watch. Um, I wouldn't mind getting another northern team as well because, like you said, then we could maybe almost do divisions. You got your South Division, North Division, or do you want to do East Division, West Division, whatever you want to do. Um, but I think that would make it more interesting too, is if you would start making divisions. Um, and yes, you would play the same teams a lot, but you would also get your non-division games in too. So I mean, they're already adding new more games to next year's schedule. So why not add more teams? We're I'm very excited to see where or who else comes up to the SPHL because, like I said, there is a lot of rumors going around. And honestly, I almost called it because the beginning of the season when they said, "Well, the Feds they don't have a salary cap," so they were just paying these players crazy amount of money. Well, I think the owners are finally learning. Oh crap! Like, I'm running out of money, and you see these F, Fed teams almost closing shop because they don't have enough money to operate. Um, but with the SPHL, they kind of give them a salary cap. Okay, this is how much money you have. This is what you can and cannot do, and I think that's a good thing because
yeah,
it helps teams, you know, really figure out who they want and who they don't want and how much can they pay this person.
right.
Um, so I think we'll see a lot more Feds teams decide to either stop operations or go to a different league. Uh, do you see the same thing happening, Wade, or do you see just Fed teams just stop operations?
I mean, like I said, I have so many thoughts on how the feds regulate that league. It's part of the reason for me why it's hard to support them because it's almost like a rogue pro league. I mean, they really don't regulate teams. They just let anybody join without doing their due diligence or seeing if how do I want to word this? Seeing if it's a sustainable team, if the ownership is a good fit. They really don't. It's you got some money to join our league. Okay, that's all we need to know. Do whatever. And I think that is not a very professional way to run a league. So I mean, if I was a Fed team and had an opportunity to jump up to the SPHL where it's a little more professional, a little more regulated, I would do that. I do think it would be nice to see, especially the more teams SPHL get, if like kind of like what you hinted at, if they could, kind of open up the salary cap a little bit more to pay these players a little bit more. That way, we don't have to worry about losing big names to the Feds as often because it sucks that a lower tier league like that lures players away because I think in a way it's holding them back in their professional career, but they want to get paid money,
Yeah,
so you can't really blame them for being enticed by the offers they get. I've heard some stories about players getting paid and percentages that they make, that you're really not supposed to make money on and stuff. And yeah, I just it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out moving forward. I guess I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard players getting paid thousand a dollar a week,
Yeah,
and it's like, how?
yeah,
Because you got the SPHL guys, they make what 250 a week or 300 a week, or not even that. I mean, it's just it, and like you said, it kind of stole away some of the good players from the SPHL because they were like, well, I mean, I can stay up here and make this amount, or I can make way more amount in the feds. Yes, it's a lower league, but if it's a lower league, why am I getting paid more? So it's just one of those deals where I agree with you. I think they should regulate it down there, because pretty much what it is if you have the best, if you have all the money, you can pay for the best players. And
how some teams fold quicker because they can't compete because it's not regulated. They can't pay what the other teams pay. They don't get the players they need. Then they don't get the fan support. Then they end up folding. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, and Cameron says, hell, ECHL guys are paid like 550, 750. Yeah, and a week. And like I said, some of these Fed players were getting paid. I know some of them were getting paid like $1,200 a week. And it's just, I mean, I don't blame some of the guys going down there. I mean, heck, at this league, a lot of guys are playing because they love to play. They don't do it for the money because they know they don't get paid a whole lot of money to do it. So at the SPHL level, they play because they love the game. Well, now if I can go down to the Feds and play what I love to play, but I'm still getting paid, why wouldn't you? You know. So I mean, that's what stole a lot of the good talent out of the SPHL, with that. So any more you have to say on that, and then we'll get into our news or our segment that you wanted to get into. Um,
no, I think we said it on that one.
all right. Now that the season is over, the protected list should be coming out soon. I guess the question is, who would you like to see back in a Riverman jersey next year? Wade, I will let you go, and then we'll just kind of discuss and see if I have different players on my list than you. So, Wade, go ahead and tell us, who would you like to protect for next year, or who would you like to see back next year? I should say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long list, for sure. There's a lot of guys that I've seen a lot of potential in, and with the uncertainty with the vet, um, like I said, I'm interested in to see like what a Jordan Ernst does or an Alec Bear because I know they got some gas left in the tank, if you will. If they wanted to come back for another season, they very well could. But if they wanted to call it a career, you can't blame them, you know. But if we did bring two vets back for another season, at the top of my list would be Alec Bear and Jordan Ernst both. I think those two are great vets to bring back that can offer some leadership. And I know when I say leadership and Alec Bear, some people, maybe even you at times, Ty, just maybe think there might be others better suited for that. And, at times I have agreed with that. But I don't know. Like I said, I've always loved Alec Bear so much. I've always loved that guy so much. And when he's playing his game and playing loose and everything, like the talent is immense. It's there. We've seen some of that in the playoffs. He leads differently than we're used to. I think that's the big thing too. Is we're used to seeing a Hageman style leadership role, and he's not the same type of leader as Hageman. I think that's the big difference. Um, but I would. I mean, he was one win away from having three rings. I would still love to see a player like Alec Bear and Jordan Ernst get that third ring. So those two players would be at the top of my list for veterans. Um, also, number three, Michael McChesney. I mean, he was such a key part of our team throughout the entire season. Led the league in scoring. Um, just a fun guy to watch play hockey, and I think he added a lot of dimensions to our team. He's good on the penalty kill. He's a special teams guy, and like I said, I really enjoyed watching Michael McChesney, and I think he has a lot to offer Peoria Rivermen still, and could be a great player for years to come with us. Um, number two, or number two. Why did I say number two? Number four. Um, but we could start losing him to the ECHL if he don't already start up there. But if he doesn't start up there, I would definitely love to see Garrett Devine return to us. Um, I think he was a great asset, a great two-way player, and I think he's only really honestly scratching the surface of what he can become. Um, he can be a top player in the SPHL for sure. So I would like to see him return to number five, Braden Barker. Barks was a huge piece to our lineup. I mean, probably the most versatile guy we got in our lineup. Two-way player, uh, can play literally anywhere on the ice. Center, winger, defender. I mean, he plays everywhere. And like I said, you can plug him in anywhere, and he does the job you ask him to do. And I see leadership skills in him as well. Uh, so I would obviously love to see Barks return. Um, number six, I would love to see Moole come back to us as well. I think again, Connor has so much upside and potential to his game. He reminds me a lot of Alex Bear with the way he skates out there. And I think he can potentially reach that level. Just give him, like I said, that full season next year with us, and think sky's the limit. Um, number seven, maybe Matt Wiesner. Again, another one of those vets that I would love to see have a full season with us. Does all the little things right. And he kind of had a different style to his game. If you notice with the Rivermen, like you watch him with Pensacola or even the Bulls or Fayetteville Marksmen, like he kind of was that Brad Marchand type pest, but like he would kind of give you cheap shots here and there. I really didn't see that with Peoria Rivermen.
No.
He, verbal.
Yeah.
I've seen him,
Hey.
I've seen him run his mouth, but
Yeah.
that's a far cry away from giving people cheap shots.
Yeah.
So I really, I was pleasantly surprised with the Matt Wiesner in our lineup. I would love to see him return. Um, also, Griffin Fox. I'd love to see Griff come back. again, a very valued member on our team, can play winger and he can take face-off draws as well. Another good two-way player, so it would be nice. Some defensive guys I would like to see back. I would like, obviously, to see Kyler Fenton back. Um, I thought he played some great hockey for us, especially coming down the stretch. He just seemed to get better as the season went along. I think there's a huge upside for Kyler Fenton. I would also like to see Josh Martin come back as well. I know he was a leader of that defense. We need that. We need that leadership for our defense. Hell of a defender, and also love to see Tyler Ryder come back as well for a full season. He's got that offensive threat to his game, but is a good defender. And I'll kind of round out with a couple goalies. Like I said, there's other players I can name, but and I know that you know we'll leave that to you because I'm sure you'll name the ones I'm leaving off. But two goalies that I would like to see come back. We're going to start with Connor McAnanama. I would love to see him come back and start the year with us, and also Jack Boston. And of course, I want to see Jack come back. Those are the two goalies I want to start with. I personally think it's just my opinion, guys, and it's not because I dislike them, love them, but I personally think it's time just to move on from Nick Latinovich. I think it's that time. Um, Nothing against him personally. Again, I love what he did. He was a starting goalie when we won a cup. He played well in the playoffs this year, but I think it is time to move on from Nick Latinovich. Oh, and I will say before I bring it back, I know we waived him and he was claimed, but I doubt he'll be protected. I would love to see Zach Sirota come back to us as well. Um, I think he has a lot of up. When we waived him and he went back to the Black Bears, of course he was just a juggernaut down in the Black Bears. Point after point after points, getting a bunch of goals. See that production up in Peoria. So those are some guys I'd like to see return um, for sure.
Yeah. I I mean I agree with your list. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the leadership role guys come back, like Barker, McChesney. Um, but I would like to see Dayakawa come back and have a full season with us. But I have a gut feeling he's going to get a chance to play in the coast. I really do.
Yeah.
So would I love to see him back with us? Absolutely. But if he has an opportunity to go in the coast, I think that would be a hell of a opportunity for him because I think he has. I think he does have the talent to go up there. Um, I would love to see Norica come back. I really would. Um, he was a good player for us. I think he was starting to catch his role on the team right when he was let off. Um, I think if he would come back, that would be a good move for us. Goalie wise, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Tino's been great for us, but I think it's time to kind of move on, and I hope Jack comes back, and I hope Makanama, Nananama, Connor comes back. I think that would be a hell of a goalie tandem right there with Jack and Connor. Um, But I mean, who knows? Tino might be back and Jack might leave. We don't know yet. We're gonna have to wait and see. Um, I would like to see uh, Wiesner come back, of course. I would love to see Barker come back. I don't think we'll see um, JM come back. I just don't see that. If he does, it might be another one like we had this season, and I think everybody knows my opinion on that. Um, but I will give him. I will. I was kind of eating my words there for a little bit, because there for a while, JM could have possibly been the MVP
Hmm.
of the playoffs because he was just scoring and assists, and I could almost see that. Man, I would like to, like you said, Connor Schmuel. Yeah, I mean, you named pretty much everybody I would like to see come back. I would like to see Corey Dennis come back. Uh, he was a foundation of our defense. If only three of our defensemen come back next year, I think the three that I would like to see on that would be Martin, Corey Dennis, and Fenton. That would be the three that I would hope would come back. If Terry Ryder comes back, I'd be happy with that. Um, but I think if we only get three out of all the defensemen, those are the three I would love to see come back next year. Uh, and I just I just want us to, as a fan base, we kind of need to, you know, look and be honest with ourselves and move on from some of these players. Um, Wade, I think I know what you're. I think you know.
Uh-oh.
There, I'm back.
Okay.
Uh, I think you know what I'm about to say. We need to stop relying on people that are already retired.
Yeah.
Um, we need to stop saying, "Oh, we need this, we need that, we need this." No, go out and find that. There's players out there that can fill in just like they did. Um, they're out there. You just got to find them, but they also got to mesh with the team as well. Um, I know there's a lot of guys that well, we should have never got rid of so and so, or never, we need so and so back. It's like we got to win with what we have. I know I'm kind of getting off topic because it's supposed to be a protected list, but kind of goes together because it's like
Yeah.
because I know some people are gonna say, like, well, I want JM protected, I want Bear, Ernst, everybody. Well, we can't. You can't do that.
Is Wilkie and Trudeau
Eventually,
back?
yeah, yeah, and it's just we got to kind of move on from that, and there's gonna be new players. Um, there's got to be new players. There's got to be uh, just kind of getting over what we already had, and that's hard for people. I know it is. Uh, Big Ben says, "Hey guys, hope the show goes well. It was fun doing it with you, Wade. Hope to do it next season." Yeah, Wade's already said he's all board for next season and throughout the summer because I'm sure we're going to be doing some hockey during the summer. Because there's going to be some more um, announcements, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, I'm going back to the protected list. Um, Another player that you know that didn't get recognition, but he does have a purpose on the team, and is Chartrand. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to score 1,000 goals a year or 100 assists or whatever, but he has found his role on this team. And I guess the question is he worth taking one of the protection spots on the list? Some would say yes, some would say no. So I mean, and I know some people want to get rid of Terry Ryder. Um, but people need to realize he's a defensive minded guy first. I mean, he was not known for scoring. It's the same thing as Parody. When we had him at the beginning of the season, he was a defensive first player. He was not going to go out there and score goals. Uh, but people were like, "Well, he needs to score a goal." Well, he's not going to. He's defense. That's what we have. So it'll be interesting on see who Gee puts on the protected list. I know there's going to be a couple that we're going to maybe shake our, scratch our heads on. But I mean, there might be some players not on that list that you might say, "Oh, well." And I'm back. I don't know why all of a sudden it's doing this. Um, it was going good pretty much all show, and now all of a sudden it's starting to act like this.
Gotta do it to you one more time this season.
I guess I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's on the list, who's not going to be on the list, and there's going to be some players not on the list that we know they're not going anywhere. It was just kind of like when he wouldn't protect Tristan. Tristan wasn't going anywhere else. There was no other team he was going to sign with
Well,
in the
it's just like I
SPHL.
always said, the protected list only tells half the story at most.
Yeah, yeah, and and some people want Frankie back, which if he doesn't come back, I don't blame him at all.
Right.
Not at all. I probably wouldn't even answer my phone if I was him. I came played for you. You guys traded me. Following season, I came to play with you again, and I got traded again. So it just was kind of one of those deals. I'm anxious to see if we do end up getting somebody from the past. And Wade knows who I'm talking about. I will be kind of anxious to watch for that. I know there's been rumors about that going on. Like I said, I'm not going to say anything about it, but it would be nice to see that happen. And it'd be interesting to see who all retires after this year. Like even on the Evansville roster, who's going to retire across the league. It'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see who goes up. So.
Well, that's why I'm interested in the protected list outside of the Rivermen too, because that's potential people that we can negotiate to bring on board with us. So it's not just about who we protect or leave unprotected. Kind of like what we're hinting at with a former guy possibly coming back. A lot of that depends if he's left unprotected. So like I said, that's why it's I can't wait for those lists to come out because I'm not just looking at our list. I'm looking at everybody's list. The potential there.
Yeah. No, it'll be very interesting to see who gets protected in other teams and who is the inaugural roster of the Rock Lobsters in the SPHL. That is going to be interesting to see as well. So like I said, the league keeps growing, and it's going to be very, very interesting off season. Let's just say that. And so before we wrap things up here, again, congratulations to the Evansville Thunderbolts on winning the President Cups championship. Earlier, we had the race show. This is canceled for tonight, as well as the Mars series in Highland. excuse me, they are all canceled due to weather. Um, Wade, one more time, go ahead and give a shout out to Bayleaf Indian Restaurant and Bar, and then we'll kind of just wrap things up and recap.
All right. Shout out to Bayleaf Indian Restaurant and Bar, who was kind enough to reach out to me this year unexpectedly and sponsor me. That was that was an awesome experience. I can't thank those guys enough for reaching out to me. Not something I intended, not something I seen happening, but it was great to work with these guys. And shout them out. And like I said, it makes it easier when you love the product. And I love the food and I love the service. That's why it's easy to do it, and I'm happy to do it. Because I've not had a single bad experience at that restaurant. I All the dishes have been absolutely delicious that I've tried. They've catered to my taste. Again, my fiance is not big on spicy food at all. She doesn't even like some barbecue chips because it's too spicy. So that's her. That's the spice palette we're dealing with here. And there was food she truly enjoyed there that didn't have that spice that you would think they would. So I mean, believe me when I say if you don't like spicy food, guys, they got you covered. They can cater to that. If you got that picky kid, that you're worried about, like I said, they got food for them as well. I promise you, if you get on down there, check them out, scope their menu. Um, they got really great food down there, and they're happy to help. If you're totally new to the cuisine, don't know any of that food at all, they will walk you through it. And you know, educate you on basically what you're getting. They have no problem doing that. This is a great place with great service, and it's in a great location. Right by Peoria Chiefs and right by Riverman Hockey at Carver. Just a couple blocks from Carver, maybe like 6 blocks away from Peoria Chiefs Stadium, right down there by the riverfront. So, now that maybe you got a little more free time, please go on down there and check them out. Rather it's before Peoria Chiefs game or not, I promise you'll enjoy your experience, and tell them Wade and Big Ben and Tide Sports Cave sent you.
All right. Well, Wade, like I said, it's been a hell of a year. Um, it's time for a break, buddy. Uh, you can relax a little bit. Like I said, we'll see how the off season goes, and hopefully we'll see that protected list. I think it comes out next month.
Most likely.
Yeah, I think it comes out next month. Um, it'll be a very interesting to see. Like I said, it's been a great season on this podcast. We're just going to continue to grow. We're going to continue doing things, and I had fun. I had fun with this. We're going to totally do it next year, and hopefully we'll have bigger and better things. We had one former Riverman on, which he is agreed to come back on at some point. Like I said, I didn't get um, a couple of them in time for this season, but next season definitely I'm going to work on that a little bit more. They said they would, but the timing just wasn't right. So we're going to work on that, and then again tonight, if you're around Central Illinois, Fairbury is racing tonight. Spoon River Speedway is racing tonight with 7 classes. So if you want to go down there and get down there, if you don't like racing and you want to watch some more shows, our buddy Big Ben will be on iVlog TV at Third Eye Vision. Go there. He plays music and tries to keep everybody entertained. I'm not sure what time he's going to be on, but he's going to be on sometime tonight. So if that's not, if racing's not your thing, and I think there's a couple playoff hockey games tonight. Sorry, I haven't really been following hockey ever since the Rivermen lost. My my Blues have been out of the playoffs since the All-Star break, pretty much. And I just, after the Rivermen lost, I just kind of took my time off with hockey and then kind of concentrated on the racing. So it's been a very big pleasure doing this with you, Wade. We're going to continue doing it. Wade, you got anything else you'd like to say before we close out for the last time here?
Yeah, there's some things. A quick shout out too, because we will be getting a new ice plant, new boards, and new glass for the upcoming season. So I'm anxious to see that. Can't wait for that. Shout out to the Civic Center for finally making sure that happened. And again, just to wrap up, like Ty did here, like I said, I need a break. I need a break, but this has been such a blast, such a pleasure doing this. Like I said, I have a passion for this. Obviously, I love Riverman hockey so much. I love hockey so much. To have this outlet to be able to share my opinion alongside Ty and Big Ben, it's awesome. I feel very, very grateful that you two, decided to reach out to me and bring me along for the ride. It's been a fun ride with you guys. Like I said, I can't wait to kind of pick this up again right into the new season next year. I think we're going to have an even better time next year. And I'm sure you guys will see me a few times throughout the summer, as Ty has alluded to, because of protected lists and signings leading up to the new season. So I'm sure you'll see me a few more times. Myself, I'm not so much on the racing side of things. I might go to a few races, but I'm not the guy to talk to when it comes to racing. That's Big Ben and Ty all the way right there to keep you informed on that. Yeah, this is a much needed break for me. Kind of just unwind from the season and kind of get over what happened and get myself ready for another year of Rivermen and Blues hockey, and hopefully with better results from both teams, especially the Blues, because ow, that sucked. um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
again, Ty, I can't say it enough. Thank you for bringing me along for this ride. It's been fun, and I can't wait to do it
Yeah.
next year. Did you freeze one more time on us at the end?
There we go. I'm back
Uh,
now. I told you it has to do like 4 more times before we end this. I mean, it's been behaving itself today. Even during the race part, I only glitched like maybe once. So I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. Maybe, just maybe, we might get our mutual friend to be on next year a little bit too. He did buy season tickets right next to me, so uh, we'll see what he does next year. Like I said, I'm gonna work on him. He's gonna be sitting next to me every game, so you might as well just come on to my show and complain like we do. So
yeah,
so like I said, everybody, this has been awesome. All of our hockey fans out there, we appreciate it. We appreciate you liking, sharing, and following. We'll see you all next year. If you do like racing, like I said, keep on the Facebook. Like I said, we might switch up the times a little bit and the days just a little bit because it works out for our schedule. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a great, great all season, and we're hoping to see you all next season. And Wade, we always try to keep it with final time.
For the final time, let's remember to always keep the side.
Alrighty. Thanks everybody. Y'all have a great off season. We'll see you soon.